This is the project The Cook, the Quaker, zijn vrouw en hun buurman. The cook, the farmer, his wife and their neighbor. It is located in Rozenveld and Slotermeer neighborhood in Amsterdam Nieuw-West. Nieuw-West was designed in 1934 by Cornelis van Esteren as a Dutch garden city. The project The Cook, the Farmer, His Wife and Their Neighbor builds on the history of the westelijke townsteden as being literally a garden city. The project consists of a community vegetable garden and a community kitchen. Today, neighborhood faces unemployment and the non-integration of immigrants, mostly from Turkey and Morocco, who make more than half of residents. Nieuw-West is, moreover, one of the largest residential redevelopment areas in the EU today. During last decade, previously open green public spaces became fenced off. These are known as kijkgroen, looking only gardens. The project opens one of these fenced-off gardens to residents, who reclaim the space by growing vegetables on its land. The garden and the community kitchen create bonds within the community and become a catalyst for transforming not only the public space but also the community itself. From the beginning, this is a collaborative project between Stedelijk Museum, Marietita Potrich and Wilde Westen, residents, experts and municipality. Today, 18 families cultivate the land. Residents give to the kitchen half of their produce from the garden. The kitchen is used by the gardeners and the different cooking groups of residents and people from all over Amsterdam. They meet, share food, chat and tell stories. The project is an example of redirected practice where people from various disciplines and backgrounds come together and redefine how we live together. The project is a case study for reinvention of modernist neighborhood from below. It tries to redefine rural and urban coexistence.
Kibera is the largest informal settlement in Africa. It's home to 1 million residents in an area 2/3 the size of New York Central Park, or 220 hectares. Despite the roughly $25 million in aid spent each year, Kibera has no trash collection system and only one toilet per 250 people. The Concui Design Initiative has developed an alternative means for slum upgrading in Kibera. We call it Productive Public Space, or PPS. It's a practical, locally driven means of providing basic services, building community capital, and remediating the environmental degradation affecting the daily life of residents. The first PPS began in 2006 with work sessions that enabled residents to identify problems, design solutions, and evaluate impact, a design process crucial throughout all phases of the project. This mental mapping by one resident identifies neighborhood areas such as social pub, beautiful place, railway, and alone space. With housing density so high, there is little traditional open space. The spaces that do exist are flooded at least twice each year and are thus unbuildable for housing. With the community's help, we found one such space at the end of a stream leading into the Nairobi Dam. It was being used as a dumping ground. The first PPS directly involves about 250 residents and has 6 primary components: flood control, a pedestrian bridge, a community pavilion, and a biodigester toilet block, which are financially maintained over time through the compost farm and water hyacinth enterprises. The first step was to control the flooding. With help from Burrow Happold and a Kenyan architectural partner, the residents designed and built the simple stone and wire gabions. The site lies between 2 very busy parts of Kibera, but residents were forced to jump over the highly polluted river. We built a simple bridge to connect the important circulation route. The next component, the compost farm, is the economic engine of the PPS. 80% of the waste produced in Kibera is organic. Organic agriculture has recently taken off in Kenya, driving up the demand for organic fertilizer. The compost is made using both the traditional 3-foot shed and space-saving low-tech barrels. Water hyacinth is an invasive weed that is choking the adjacent Nairobi Dam. You can make everything from soap to furniture out of it. Community women have been trained to harvest, cure, and weave the hyacinth fibers. They sell baskets at the weekly tourist market. Again, part of the money made goes back to maintain the PPS. The pavilion is a flexible space that serves many express needs of the community. It provides shelter from the sun, captures rainwater, has operable panels that double as racks to dry the hyacinth, and can accommodate over 200 residents. The space can also be used to host income-generating activities like movie nights or hot food bazaars. As designers, we try to connect a small-scale project like this one to city, regional, and global systems. The current productive public space is just the first along a spine of nodes built and managed by residents. Cumulatively, they will claim current flooded areas to house much-needed amenities and form an alternative infrastructure for residents of Kibera. Thanks for watching.
Welcome to the MyC4 mini-doc. MyC4 is an online marketplace that connects people from all over the world with African entrepreneurs who lack the capital to develop their business. In Africa, the access to capital is scarce, but with the internet as infrastructure, MyC4 bridges the gap between people with needs and people with means. Our vision is a world without poverty, where everyone has the same access to knowledge, markets and capital. Our mission is to create prosperity for all. MyC4 believes that the source to long-term sustainable development comes from business development and economic growth, from micro-businesses to small and medium-sized businesses. Therefore, MyC4 wants to remove barriers that keep people in poverty and facilitate a marketplace for a free flow of capital and knowledge. That way, people like Catherine Akwe in the picture, who sells auto spare parts, can grow their business and increase their income. Through a transparent bidding process, everyone can support African entrepreneurs in lifting themselves out of poverty. Each investor determines the amount he or she wants to invest and the interest rate. The investors, who offer the most attractive interest rates, win the opportunity to invest, just like an auction. This is a fair and market-driven process. MyC4 focuses on sub-Saharan countries since poverty is more severe here than in any other part of the world. So far, MyC4 is operating in the 7 sub-Saharan countries: Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ghana, Senegal, Ivory Coast and Rwanda. MyC4 is built around a network of local partners who screen the businesses and handle all the financial transactions. All businesses go through a thorough investigation process to make sure they provide healthy economic prospects for growth in terms of sustainability, repayment and return on investment. One of the African entrepreneurs who have received a loan through MyC4 is Deodato Nakito from Uganda. Since the late 70s, she has run a small school in her local community. During the years, she has taught more than 500 pupils, some of which are orphans who receive free education. However, the school is in a ramshackle state, and therefore Deodato has obtained a loan of €2,000 to improve the buildings and expand the school. She wants to build a more permanent structure. The income Deodato earns from her business enables her to further improve the services of her school, as well as providing reassurance and hope for the community. In just 1.5 years of operation, a total of 15,700 investors from 93 different countries have created funding for 4,914 African businesses. Almost €9.5 million have been invested so far. Go to myc4.com and start investing today. Small business can be big business.
We work in real concrete projects of housing and public space. Social housing tends to be like buying cars. They lose value over time. We identified a set of design conditions that can make units gain value over time. Treating housing as an investment and not just as a social expense. In general, the available money in the world to solve the housing problem of the poor can only pay for half a house. When that is the case, the key question is, which half do we do? We take care of the half that the family will never be able to achieve on its own. Elemental looks for better located lots with density, without overcrowding, and with the possibility for individual expansion. We develop our projects with the participation of the communities, focused on information and communication of constraints, before opening the process to collective choice. Elemental is working on inclusive instead of exclusive cities.